In the past 10 years, our families have lost income, and we have a historically high number of people living in poverty. As we strategize our way out of the policies of this state that have been proposed and enacted the last 10 years and move forward with a slow economy, it's critical to educational programs that we define and introduce new initiatives. We simply cannot afford to let them endure this injustice any longer, because our education is and always has been the underpinning of our economic foundation. Strides in higher education calls for improvement. Calls for action and unafraid people to make hard decisions and look at the facts head on. The Senate Democratic Caucus is responding to that call. We have numerous leaders that have worked hard on legislative actions that will move our state forward and benefit the people of Georgia. Protecting the Hope Scholarship and grant programs is simply not an option of this state. It's imperative to the best interest of all Georgians. We are poised and ready to take the helm of much-needed comprehensive reform of the Hope program for the sake of our economy, to study issues around the state and listen to the people of Georgia, for the health and prosperity of our state and to make a stronger future for all of us. Without further delay, I would like to introduce Senator Lester Jackson from Savannah to begin discussion of some educational and hope issues.
Good afternoon. Good afternoon. I'm State Senator Lester Jackson. Today, the Senate Democratic Caucus is proud to introduce a package of legislation designed to expand access to Hope Scholarship and to increase the number of students who are eligible for the Hope Scholarship and the Hope Grant. We are here to introduce Senate Bill 109 to restore Hope eligibility to students who high schools lose accreditation because it is not fair to punish students for a failing school. Senate Bill 109 will restore the Hope Scholarship to those students that attend failing schools. We are introducing Senate Resolution 184 and Senate Bill 107 to require colleges to accept Hope Awards amount as full tuition. This would put the burden on the General Assembly to do our jobs and properly fund higher education instead of passing a buck to the schools and to the students and their families in form of higher tuition cost. One of the biggest problems we face with our current Hope environment is that our Student Finance Commission is not releasing enough data for us to determine what is working and what is not. That's why this caucus is introducing Senate Resolution 185 to urge the Commission to release the information necessary for us to make policies and decisions based on data from across the state and across different counties and different schools districts. Finally, we are introducing Senate Bill 111 and Senate Bill 112 to expand the Zell Miller scholarships to cover the top 3% of graduating seniors from every public high school, which will provide full tuition to the top students at schools across the states, across all social economic groups. We're excited and determined to help build Georgia's economy by creating a Hope education package that will boost our state's greatest resource, its people, its children, and the future of this great state. So I'm proud of this Hope legislation package that this caucus will present to the General Assembly. I'm proud for our vision. I'm proud of these members that stand behind me that represents the future of Georgia. At this time, I will introduce our Senate Democratic Whip, Senator Vessel Forge.
Good afternoon. I wanted to make sure there's been a lot of discussion of the Hope Scholarship for Board of Regents schools, but I think it is important to note that the academic catastrophe that is going on in Georgia because of the cuts to the Hope Scholarship and to the Hope Grant. The Hope Grant is probably even the cuts to it have been even more devastating. And I'd like to outline some of those right now. Since 2011, enrollment at technical colleges has dropped by 42,860 students. That's 42,860 families who are being denied opportunities. This is that 42,000 number is 21% of the entire technical college system student body. And by our calculations, an additional 18,000 students will be lost this year for a total of 60,000 students whose opportunities will have been crushed by the cuts to the HOPE grant. All technical schools and all districts have seen at least a 20% decrease in enrollment from 2011 to 2012. For example, the Savannah Technical College in District 2 saw a drop of enrollment of 2,262 students, with 2,387 students losing the HOPE grant. The Southern Crescent Technical College in District 16 lost 2,160 students, with 2,920 losing the HOPE scholarship. The cost is of this, the changes made by the majority party to the HOPE grant totals about $8.8 million per year, which is far from a permanent fix. The bottom line is the HOPE grant was a way for working people to climb into the middle class. It was a way for working people to improve themselves, improve the lot in life of their families and their children. And I have one last statistic which is absolutely critical. 89% of HOPE scholarship grant recipients at Central Georgia Technical College, the hardest hit school by the majority party's changes, had household income of less than $60,000. What does that tell us? It tells us that those families who were participating in the HOPE grant program were holding on to their status in the middle class. And what has occurred by these cuts and those 42,000 people falling out of the HOPE grant program is families going from the middle class to the, if not to the underclass, going to a status where they're going to be hard-pressed to provide for themselves and their families. Thank you.
Thank you. My name is Jason Carter. I'm a senator from District 42 in DeKalb County, and I'm honored that Senator Henson has appointed me and Senator Freddie Sims from Albany, or from the Albany area, to co-chair an education task force. And what we intend to do is to travel the state. We'll begin in southwest Georgia in Senator Sims's district, and we'll travel across the state, concentrating on rural Georgia at first and primarily to listen and to see the impact of the last 10 years worth of education policy that's come out of this current leadership of our state. We know today that under the current leadership of our state, there is just less educating going on. You have larger class sizes. You have fewer school days in many districts. You have, as we've chronicled, more and more people who are denied access to higher education, whether it's in technical college or in universities and colleges. And these issues are serious, and they pose the biggest threat to our economic well-being as a state. All of us agree that education should be the primary priority of our state. But if you look at the policies of the last 10 years, you will see that they have said that education is a priority, and what they have done is undermine it. The area we believe that has been hardest hit is rural Georgia, as I said, and what you see over and over again is two things I would like to mention. Number one, as the state has disinvested from education, every year there's an amount of money that should be spent on education, and every year the politicians in Atlanta rip off the school fund to do other things. And as a result of that, you end up shifting the burden for paying for education to local school systems and to local property owners. That shift to the property tax funding of education is ongoing. It doesn't save taxpayer dollars in any real sense. In South Georgia, there's this story about a farmer who trained his mule not to eat. And as soon as he got it trained, it died. And what we're doing by starving our schools is undermining the system at every step of the way. And another way to say it is that we save money every year now, but when we disinvest in education, we're really just eating our seed corn. And that means we cannot till for the future and plan for the future and have the type of robust economy that we want. And this task force, we are looking forward to hearing from the vast spectrum of the communities that are affected by the education policies that we've had to endure. And we look forward to real policy discussion, and we look forward to being able to protect that investment in the future. So with that, Senator Sims and I, again, look forward to receiving the wisdom out in the state, and we'll be coming soon to a variety of different areas out in rural Georgia. So thank you so much for being here, and I'll turn it over to the leader for any questions.
Thank you, Senator Carter, Senator Jackson, Senator Ford, and all the members of my caucus for being focused like a laser on the future of our children and trying to move forward with plans and work to help their future.